Recently, Scott Reynolds and I were fishing a kettle lake near us. These shallow lakes were created when buried blocks of stagnant ice melted, leaving a depression, a kettle hole, that fills with groundwater and surface runoff. Many, like this one, don't have significant inflows. They are shallow, sort of a good news, bad news situation when it comes to trout. Because the entire lake is extremely productive, Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks report staggering growth rates of about an inch a month year long. The bad news being that it heats up to unhealthy temperatures very rapidly in the summer and is prone to winter kill. Lots of us locals flock there shortly after ice out and a bit later when the Arley and Eagle Lake strain rainbows recover from their fall spawning antics to put on serious weight in a hurry. Their primary food source is scuds. There is a FW&P sign at the lake telling us that 85% of the fish's diets here are scuds. So why don't we fish scuds exclusively here, you ask? It's because there are so many scuds, too many scuds. Hard to make your imitations stand out amongst the multitudes, particularly when your fly isn't moving like a real scud, the darting and gliding and clowning that Doug Porter ably described in Alfie Davies' book. So most of the fly-caught trout here come to side dishes rather than the everyday entree. Leeches are undoubtedly the favorite. I'm partial to different shades of brown ones, others black. Green can be a sleeper. My best day ever here was to Calabaitis, an occurrence so far never duplicated. The flotilla of trollers here shock fish into grabbing a multitude of various shiny and wobbly objects. When the trout turn their attention away from scuds to chironomids, you can have a field day. Chironomids were what Scotty and I were fishing. The previous day had been gangbusters, but it seemed that the chironomids were sleeping in today. Shortly after noon, a fish regurgitated 3 still alive and twitching scuds. Aha! Scotty immediately tied on a straggle string scud, and well, that's why we have track 2 of All You Need Is Scud. A few years ago, during a cold spell, the chironomids were a total no-show, and almost the only fish that Bill Rudiger and I were able to catch at the Kettle Lake came to this Umpqua scud from Cabela's. The smaller size 14s, being closer to the actual scud size, provoked more hits, but the 12s hooked up better. I felt that it had to be the shiny carapace that distinguished this fly from the multitudes of real scuds down there. Back to current events. The fly Scotty chose was closer still to the actual size of the scuds. It was tied on a size 14 jig hook with a small gold bead. A single strand of UV straggle string formed the body. It had a clear covert on the underside of the hook, which I didn't spot until inspecting the fly at home, and I suspect the fish never noticed at all. I tied some similar flies with black beads because Ted Trueblood preferred scuds with black heads. See track 1 for the details. For a more visible covert, I used opal ribbon. When treated with Solara's thin, hard cement, this stuff strongly resembles the more elaborate back on the Umpqua scuds. Flybys CA offer a selection of straggle string scuds on Daiichi 1120 heavy scud hooks. The attention grabber they use is a flashback covert of Mirage opal tinsel. Always good stuff. Despite many knowledgeable scientists telling us that adult salmonids can't see in the ultraviolet spectrum, fish, none of whom read the journals, continue to eat UV-enhanced flies with relish. Why ask why? We've since experimented with different colors of UV straggle string leeches and have developed personal preferences. Maybe you should too.